your class is, this is Dr. Baku, you know who he is? Okay. What class is this, Doctor?
This is a combination of students who are in our Student Finance Association.
Okay.
So some are in the 3320, some are a little bit further along in
Okay.
senior level classes.
Okay, all right, good. And have you been through a speed reading course? Okay, the question is, why not? Why not? There are a variety of, I did the Evelyn Wood Reading Dynamics course in 1967 before I went to school. It is the single most important thing I ever did in my life. More important perhaps than even my degrees, because it taught me how to process information very quickly. The ability to take in information, process it, and spit it back out is an incredible thing. And so the faster you can read, now there's something called Blitz. Anybody know about Blitz yet? Google it. Blitz is a new reading program where they throw the words, where you read differently. They throw the words in front of you, and it's a little screen. And you might want to take a look at Blitz. Never dreamed in those days that I would have as much data to look at as I have. I have an extraordinary amount of data, and you won't find another office in this country that has this much in it on Bloomberg. My ability to take in information, think of what I'm going to do with it, make a phone call, and make it actionable is what's determined my success. Okay? Finance almost killed me the first year. I almost died the first year. And my great thing, my great story was, first day of class, we had quant. It was the first class. And I'm sitting next to the nephew of the president of South Korea. His name was Yu-Chung Park. And Yu-Chung was looking at the Korean to English dictionary. I was looking for the quant to English dictionary, because just because I guessed well didn't mean I knew anything. And so it was like, I'm thinking, I had just got married 5 days earlier. So now, and I married the smartest woman in the school. So I had a bit of a problem. However, I gave myself an out. If I didn't make it at Vanderbilt in 5 days, the University of Michigan started after Labor Day. Okay? So I still had a shot to throw all our stuff in a car, drive to Ann Arbor, and start in the MFA program. I look at these two courses, computers and quant, and I go, basically they seem like the same thing to me. So after class I went over to the computer center and I found a guy who was a doctoral student. And I said, are these the same? And he looked through and he goes, 99%. Okay. 2 hours, I became an expert on this stuff. I was a musician, I understood how things worked. All of a sudden, it was the most illuminating day probably of my life. I learned how to do this, I get to do it, a whole bunch of them in this 2 hour period. I go back to the dean, and Vanderbilt in those days, we were on a pass-fail. We were experimental. And so I went to the dean and I said, I have a great idea. And he goes, what's your idea? And I said, we should use computers to teach quant to those of us who are the soft heads. And he sat back and he said, that's a great idea. So I went from being the guy who had a half-life in graduate school expectation of maybe 2 days to being the outstanding computer guy in the school. So, okay, I made it through graduate school. Then the idea becomes, where do you go to make money? Well, I wanted to make money, build up my confidence, learn how to put deals together. Learn how to put deals together. Where do you learn that stuff? You learn it in the brokerage business, because that's what you do all day long. So I interviewed with Goldman Sachs and Merrill Lynch. Goldman Sachs said, yes, they wanted me, but I had to be in New York, and I didn't want to be in New York. Merrill Lynch said, you can go any place in the country, and I had enjoyed living here. I said, okay, Corpus Christi, they need a new manager, and I joined them in Corpus Christi. And I spent almost 35 years there, and then I left and started this about 7 years ago, last week. I talk to people about relationships and opportunities. Most of you are sitting on a gold mine in friends and relationships and opportunities, but you're just not looking at it. The things you need, the resources you need, may be just right there, and you're just not looking at it. The most important thing you can do right now is network. Network with each other, and network with everybody else's friends. If you don't have a network, put one together, okay? Shaking hands, real people, sitting there drinking coffee, throwing real ideas around. That's how deals are done. They're done person to person, face to face, okay? That's how you do deals. You look somebody in the eye and you see if you can trust them. You shake their hand and you feel that they've got some oomph behind there, they've got some power, okay? That's how it's done. This business is doing it online. Now, we use Skype camera here and big Skype camera over there. We do Skype videos with my clients who live, and they live out. Rule number 2, always be nice. Be nice to everyone. There is never somebody who you meet who you're not nice to, because that person could be your boss. Oh, or I'm sorry, they could be your spouse at some point too. You never know, okay? When you get out into the workforce and you're actually doing something that's productive, you're going to need some goals. Some goals. You're going to have to write them down. You can't say, well, it's in my head and I think about it. No, you don't. You don't think about it. You think about it once in a blue moon. I have stuff that I do every morning that I've done since 1984. Some of my speech that I'm doing today, I've looked at every single day since 1984. No missed days. Because think about this for a moment. You have this terrific brain, this computer brain, which is better than a computer. When you turn it on in the morning, what's in it? Well, a lot of stuff is in it, right? But it's not really up to snuff. It's just kind of in neutral. So if we talked about sitting on a gold mine, just not looking at it, injecting your goal 3 times daily, you become what you think. Alter the fringes, not yourself. The first step to change is awareness. I choose to be great at all the things I choose to be great at. Total financial independence is your objective. Say it. Total financial independence is your objective. One more time. Total financial independence is your objective. That's it, folks. Now, if you have financial independence, guess what you can do? Here's another word. Anything. Anything, okay? Anything. It's the mistakes that people make that keep them from being financial independent. And you're not financial independent at 22 unless you're one in 250 million chance of winning the lottery. Okay? The odds of getting struck by lightning are 1 in 2 million, which means you have to get struck by lightning 125 times before you win the lottery? Okay, it's not a really good or great business strategy. Metrics. If you can't measure it, it doesn't mean anything. I have a goal every single day for business. Every single day. And I have a spreadsheet, which I'm not showing because it's proprietary stuff. But my goal is up here, and every time I do a trade or something, we subtract from, put the number in, subtracts from the daily goal. It adds to the week, it adds to the month, it adds to the year. And then further on the side of my spreadsheet, I have what I've done for the last 3 years. The money is made in sales. Repeat that. The money is made in sales. Okay. Everybody thinks you can be a financial analyst and make a lot of money. Okay. What percentage of the people who took the CFA passed the test first time? It's about 44%. That's actually up, I think, a little bit. Okay. Everybody wants to be a financial analyst. That's great. But financial analysts get a salary. People who actually put deals together, or entrepreneurs who bring money and resources together and produce things, actually get paid a whole lot more. I tell people, focus works. Focus works. Fragmentation kills. It kills you. It kills your ability to produce. It kills your work, the quality of your work. It kills everything. So focus is what it takes. Now, my concept is something called time lock. Say this. Time lock. Say it. Time lock. Basically, it's 90 minutes where you focus on nothing. I won't take a phone call. Don't open my door, I will kill you. The idea is that for this particular period of time that you're doing something, whether you're building a spreadsheet, or you're making sales calls, or you're drawing, or whatever it is, that's the time, okay? Your 90 minutes of intensity, okay? The core of your motivation is your dream. I have a dream. You all should have a dream. You have dreams? Okay? You have a dream, right? Is it money? Is it a better future? Is it a spouse? Is it children? Is it a Ferrari Testarossa? I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. You have to have one. So, I mean, I have a list of things I want to do, and I have to keep adding things to my list because I just keep doing more and more things. That's something else you should learn about life. You keep going. I'm 66 years old, and I'm going. I mean, you can't stop me. I'm relentless. Don't get in the way. I will knock you out of the way because I still have it to go. And that's something you should learn, that at any age, you have to be the best you can be at any age. Now, would I challenge any of you to a race? No. Would I challenge any of you to figuring out the best option to buy? You bet. That's what I'm good at, okay? My goal in life is to help people realize their financial dreams. They tell me what they want to do. I help them get there. I get to realize, because I get paid for doing this. I get paid for helping others get their dream. What a concept. How fun is that, right? Okay? And you have to have fun. You have to have fun in life. You can't take yourself too seriously. You just can't. Everybody kind of thinks one way. You want to think differently. You want to think expansively. If somebody says, here's a project for you to do, think about how you can do it, not just by doing the project, but how can you make the project bigger? How can you make it bigger? How can you make it better? How can you make it more interesting? How can you make it in such a way that people go, wow, wow. So I call that the wow factor, okay? It's not just doing your job. It's doing your job in such a way that people go, wow, I never expected this. That makes you so much greater than anyone else. You've got to know where you're going, okay? And you also have to know that if you want to win the race, you have to run the best race. The fastest race, the most strategic race, the most focused race, to win the race, okay? Now here's what I would suggest to all of you who are going to do business school. Do the joint program where it's both law and the MBA program. It's a 5-year program. You do it in 4 years. People are standing there with blank checks to write it to you, okay? Very few of those people, very few. Sometimes we run into things which just beat the hell out of us. There's no other way to describe it. Just, okay. And you go, oh my God, what am I going to do now? Well, here's an interesting philosophy for you. It's called the Day One philosophy. Day One philosophy. Today is the first day of the rest of my life. Say it. Today is the first day of the rest of my life. Day One philosophy, right? No ifs, just how. Say it. No ifs, just how. One more time. No ifs, just how. Right? Think about that. It's not if I'm going to do it. It's how I'm going to do it. Like I said, you can do anything in the world you want if you can break it down into a small enough thing so you can complete the task in a positive manner. Okay? And not everything happens good that you're working on. Sometimes things don't work. Sometimes your formulas are wrong. Sometimes this happens, sometimes that happens. That's why you need the Day One philosophy and no ifs, just how. Okay? Right? Life is not easy. Don't make the mistake of thinking it is. In life, you want to be a thoroughbred, not a pacer. Who wants to be a pacer? It's like being on the merry-go-round. It goes around, same view and everything else. No, no, no. You want to be a thoroughbred. You want to be the horse that's outrunning all the other horses. Great about it. You're going to stumble. You're going to fall. You're going to pick yourself back up. You're going to Day One philosophy. You're going to know ifs, just how. That's what happens in life. Okay? We are all top mental athletes. Think about that for a moment, okay? Top mental athletes. Right? You're in college, you're in graduate school, you're a top mental athlete. Now, I was never much of a physical athlete, but I'm certainly a mental athlete. When it comes to mental gymnastics, I'll take anybody on. So we're top mental athletes. You need to think of yourself in that way. This brain can do anything. There is nothing I can't do if I put my mind to it. Top mental athletes. I always tell people, whatever you want in life, ask for it. Ask for it. Don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to ask. All of us are salesmen. Saleswomen, take a choice. All of us are salespersons, to be politically correct. And you go, well, I'm not. No, I'm not. Really? You got a girlfriend?
Yes.
Thank you. You're a salesman. Okay? How do you get anything in this world? You ask for it. You ask for it. And you just keep asking for it. You know, it's like, if you don't ask, you're never going to get. People don't walk up to you and go, you know, you're a handsome fellow, and I'd love to spend the rest of my life with you. Does this happen very often in real life, other than a movie? It happened to you? Okay, so the idea is ask for what you want. If you want a better job, ask for it. But ask yourself first. Ask yourself first, okay? What am I doing? What do I really want? How will this help me if I get it? Okay? You can't be afraid to ask for anything. If you're afraid to ask, then you're afraid to be successful. If you're afraid to ask, you're afraid to be successful. Ooh. Can I be any more specific? I think that pretty much sums it up, right? Anybody watch football here? Okay. You know, sometimes you can't get ahead, it's blocked, you flip it back, lateral it to another player. They take the ball. In my business, I don't do as much insurance as my senior vice president next door, Vance Filer. He's the senior vice president of my company. So when I get an insurance thing, I lateral it to him. I don't try to do it. I give it to him to do. Okay, I go back to doing what I do really, really well, and he works on that, because he does that really, really well. So lateral to the expert when you get a chance to. The fun is getting there. The fun is getting there. I'd like to be your age and get to do all this all over. It has been a lot of fun. It's been crazy, nuts. It's been scary. It's been exuberant. It's been every word that you can think of. But it's fun. It's fun. We have fun getting there. Starting here, getting to here. Wow. And all the stuff it took. When I first joined Merrill Lynch, my first day at Merrill Lynch, 1972, May 30th. I graduated from Vanderbilt 5 days earlier. They had a sales meeting that morning, and they introduced me, and they said, this is Charles Doraine, he just graduated from Vanderbilt, he has an MBA. We've never had one of those before. We don't know what he's going to do, but we think he'll do all right. Charles, would you like to say something? I said, sure. It's a pleasure to be here. I look forward to getting to know all of you, and I'm going to beat all of you and become #1. People were shocked. People went, they didn't know what to say, because no one ever did that before. That's a little on the crazy side. I'm a little on the crazy side. And it took me 14 years. Then I was on top for the next 20 years. But I call it championship behavior. You have fun, you take a little risk, you have the swagger. People see it in your eyes. They know who they're talking to. They know you're a champion. They know you're good at what you can do. Okay? And people want to be with the winners. Everybody wants to be with the winners. Nobody wants to be with the losers, which is why they're all 2 or 3 in an apartment with big screen TVs watching sports and computer stuff all the time. Okay? How many of those people ever break out and go on and do something great? Not very many. Have any of you taken the strong vocational aptitude test? Anybody even know what it is? No, okay. You know what it is, okay. You can go online, strong vocational aptitude test. It's, I think, $50 or something. All of you should take it. It tells you what your interests are like, okay? Now, I know what you're majoring in, I know what you want to do, but wouldn't it be interesting to find out that you have the interests not of a financial analyst, but you really have the same interest as somebody who's a social science teacher in high school? Wouldn't that be nice to know before you got into a job that you went, oh, I hate this, okay? Even though you may love the idea now. A job is different than an education for a job. Because in the job, you have to do this stuff all day long. When you have negatives in your life, we all have negatives, counterpunch them with positives. They say, I got a C on that test. Okay, yeah, I got a C on that test, but I got an A on 3 other tests, and this, and this. I'm not stupid, I simply didn't study enough. Counterpunch negatives with positives. Okay? And you have to do that, you have to have some positives. So you have to excel and achieve in other areas. So if you screw up in one, you can say, well, okay, it's not so bad. You don't earn opportunities. You seize them. You seize them. Think about that for a moment. If you're waiting to earn it, you may never earn it. But if you go out and say, I want it, then it's yours. When you're in sales, when you're looking for a boyfriend or girlfriend, whatever. Some of the greatest opportunities happen and we go, well look what he just did. Yeah, well, he sees the opportunity. Or she just sees the opportunity. Or, I've had people who've asked me for jobs. We've given them jobs. You want to be more professional than anyone else. What does that mean? You want to look better, you want to sound better, you want to be well dressed, you want to have a good handshake, a good smile, look at people's eyes. I noticed that this group of people is astounding. All of you are looking at me, and nobody's looking around. That's it. For young people, it's very uncomfortable because they can't look anybody in the eye, because they can't talk to you on the phone because they want to text you. No, we don't email. Well, we do email, and we do text. But when we sit across from people, we look them in the eye. Look them in the eye. Maintain eye contact. Okay? Because if you don't, it's disrespectful. Now, a few years ago, it was about 4 years ago, I was looking to hire 2 people. And I called the university, and they sent me a couple of people. And I may have told you that story. Yeah, you're just... They showed up, one guy, there's 2 guys. One guy showed up, his tie was down here. Wasn't up here, it was down here. His shoes hadn't been shined. And he wasn't wearing a jacket. I didn't even know what to say. Another guy shows up, this guy's wearing a jacket, but he doesn't have collar stays in his thing. So his shirt is up like this, and his tie is not at the top. And his shoes aren't shined. So if you don't make a good appearance, what do you think I'm going to do? I'm not going to hire you, okay? So, clothes make the man, clothes make the woman. Don't ever forget that. So you want to look good, you want to have shine shoes, you want to smell nice. You want to smell nice, it's a nice thing. Smelling nice is a good thing. Your hair should be nice. Everything should be perfect because you're looking for a job. And when we sit across the desk from you, we're looking at everything. Always do what's right. Always. Say it. Always do what's right. Always.